When I'm with my niece, who's my, brother's talking point and all that, there is so much sensuality that it drives you crazy. There is just so much touching and so much hugging and so much kissing and so much, and it's just unrelenting and unstoppable, and it has no limits. It doesn't matter how many times you say no, doesn't matter how many times you block it, it's just, it's a game now. And then they're just pushing and pushing and pushing and overstepping boundaries and pushing the limits. It's like a dog when you try to chain it up and it's like, it's a game now, and they just and they run away, and it's like, oh gosh, that can be dangerous. And it's just pushing boundaries, pushing limits, this kind of predatory, persecutory behavior in order to get through and make the other submit and join that system, because sensuality is a two-way street. You do enjoy it, even if you're not enjoying it, you're still receiving warmth and touch, and it's stuff that since babies we're primed to enjoy since we're in the uterus for 9 months. So it's very, very disturbing, particularly when you don't want to be touched, and then you enjoy it. Oh gosh, then you're now associating enjoyment with your limits being overbound, and having no limits is just the entry point for the narcissist. They want you to have no limits, because putting limits is what they can't live. They can't inject themselves into you if you have barriers against them. And so the use of sensuality, which is the love without truth, right? Just touching and feeling and kissing, it's not deserved, it's not merited, it's not appropriate. And that was the thing. If you're a wanker, right? If you're a twat, then you're kind of going to fall into these situations, even if you don't like them. And that's part of what Romans 1 is about. He gives you over to your desires. So if you're a twat and you're a wanker and you think that, you have the right to pleasure your own flesh and gratify it, then he's going to put you around people that just do as much, because if you're talking about someone who's your niece or your sister or your brother or just any member of the human race, we're all family, and you believe that gratification, self-gratification and sensual gratification is an appropriate thing, well, he's going to put you with people where they believe it's an appropriate thing, and he's going to let you, right, if that's what you want, in the end, he gives it to you. He's not going to force you out of it. And so when you divorce yourself from twatism and wankerism, then you'll be released from that, because you'll then be putting up a limit and a border to this kind of sensual gratification with your own self, with your own flesh, and if you put up that border within yourself, well, then you're going to be able and will have that border outwardly, and that will divorce you from those situations where it comes. And if it does come, you'll be able to deal with it perfectly. And just to use a small girl, that innocence, and to create such a huge wedge between us, because I don't want anything to do with that little lady ever again, ever. I'm so offended and so disturbed by the excessive amounts of sensuality that she was giving. I must have said no 200, 300 times. I've asked her to stop. And then I got to witness, after saying no and no and no, stop, please leave me alone, please, I got to see this narcissistic collapse. She had an absolute kind of, she was saying, come on, hug me, come on, hug. And she had an absolute emotional breakdown and collapse. And her dad's right next to her. And I'm like, do you not see what's happening in your daughter? And he's like, whatever. And I'm like, why are you allowing this, for one? Well, I know why. There is no bewilderment. Oh, gosh. Oh, dear. And they're just, gosh. I can't even.